There's a new exhibit in town showing at the Harmony Cultural Center on Hill Street in the center of Jerusalem. The exhibit is called New Wave, New Home, and it features 23 artists, all of them recent immigrants to Israel, or some are here for actually a little longer than that. I met one woman who's here for 10 years, and each artist has a chance to show 2 works of art. I submitted my photographs back at the end of March, 6 of them, and 2 were chosen, and the 2 photographs that are featured in New Wave, New Home are different from each other. Firstly, one is color and one is black and white. One of them is more realism, journalistic, a photograph taken on the streets of Jerusalem, and the other is a still life taken 16 years ago in New York, and during a time when I was photographing over the course of a number of months, objects, as opposed to people, as opposed to places. And the objects in this case are 2 cans of tuna. The photograph of the girl walking on Agrippas Street was taken in April of last year when I was photographing on the street and photographing people walking about, doing things, trying to look for some juxtaposition when it all comes together and tells an interesting story. And I noticed her, and as I looked at the photograph afterwards on my computer, along with the others, I saw that in this particular one, she was wearing yellow, as was the mannequin that is on the left of the photograph, wearing yellow. And when I looked closer, I also saw that her hand, the girl's hand, was positioned in a way that is similar to the hand of the mannequin. And that sort of makes the photograph. This is Agrippas Street. This is a street that borders the Shuk, Machane Yehuda Shuk. And the other street that borders the Shuk is Jaffa Street. It was back in April, it was midday, much brighter outside. Now it's dusk. It's about 6:45 in the evening. And I was photographing back then in April along the sidewalk, and people were walking along. I was photographing the passerby, and I noticed this clothing store, this women's clothing store in back of me, and there was colorful clothing there. And I saw this young woman who was also dressed in yellow, just like one of the mannequins that was dressed in yellow. This is a very busy street. You can hear the cars honking. And it's busy during the day when people are out shopping, perhaps in the Machane Yehuda fruit market, or they're shopping at one of the local stores here. At night it's busy too because people are still shopping in the stores, which are open, as well as going out to some of the eateries that are here. The cans of tuna were taken back about 16, 17 years ago at a time when I was photographing still life. Not exclusively, but I was playing with objects that I had in my possession or things that I went out to buy, including tuna cans. And I had them actually not for photography as much as for eating, but I was arranging them and lighting them and turning them around so that we could not see the brand name, and trying to make an interesting composition, something that had a certain starkness to it. The tuna cans I was having fun with. I was trying to do something that was a little different, and certainly this is different than the type of work that I normally photograph. But I think that any photographer who is agile can go ahead and photograph something that's not their normal subject matter. So a photographer who photographs people should be able to also explore and do some interesting things with still life, or with fashion, or with weddings, and the converse. There certainly are specialties, and there are people who excel within those specialties as visual artists, but if one is astute visually and good at composition and able to look at things in an interesting, different way, they should be able to do justice.